you like to find out more about asymmetrical balance in our homes? Well, then stay tuned. Hi everyone, I'm so glad you're here to hang out and talk about neat interior design topics. In this video, we're going to be talking about the design principle of balance and focusing in on asymmetrical balance, but also talking about symmetrical balance and kind of, comparing and contrasting those two to see how we use both of those in our places. So if that sounds kind of interesting to you, I'd love to have you hang out. And I want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. So let's get started. So to take a look at asymmetrical balance, let's kind of compare it to the attributes of symmetrical balance. So I made a video about symmetrical balance, and I'll put the link in the description if you want, a deeper dive into symmetrical balance. But as a quick review, symmetrical balance is almost as if we could draw an imaginary line down an area of a room, or even, down this wall where the pictures are and down that sofa. And if we were going to split that in half, there would be equal amount of elements on either side, a mirror image on either side. Asymmetrical balance is still bringing, a balanced look to a room, but it's working with different elements, different sizes, or different elements, or different colors. And if we were going to do the same thing again and have a sofa and put pictures over the sofa, we wouldn't want to think about that whole area. And we could place two smaller paintings on the left side and a larger painting on the right side, and we could switch that around. But overall, we're still creating a balanced look. We couldn't, put a line down the center. It would just, there wouldn't be, mirror images, but it still has a very balanced look where everything is centered within that area and creates a balanced look. And then in any type of balance that we use to bring a room together, it's always about visual weight. And that just means what we see, what we perceive in the room to have weight to it, where our eye kind of goes and notices things. And, sometimes that's talking about emphasis or focal points, but also it's talking about, maybe a room or an area of a room looks and feels kind of heavy, where it's there's a lot of weight on one side of the room compared to another side of the room. As in this example where, there's this cool accent wall with this neat sectional. And, that's a cool thing. We want to create a cool, area of emphasis, focal point of this room. But we want to make sure the whole room looks and feels balanced. And so we want to counterbalance that by, adding something else in the other side of the room to help balance that entire room. Not take away from what's going on over there, but just try to balance it out visually so that when we walk in the room, we feel calmer. The last thing we want is to feel tension when we go in a room. Unless you're an artist or, a designer that's creating a space on purpose to create tension, I think most of the time we want to go into a room and enjoy the room, not, feel off balance or feel like there's something not working and something is just too heavy on one side and just feels lopsided. We always want to create a room where we feel calm and we enjoy the space and enjoy all the decor in that room. And then we use a lot of different design elements to create balance in a room, whether it's symmetrical balance or asymmetrical balance. And, design elements such as lighting and color and texture and pattern. There are a lot of different things that we use to make sure that there is a similar or equal weight throughout the space. So, playing with size and scale, making sure that, if there's an area of heavy visual weight on one side of the room, trying to counterbalance that maybe with some heavier pieces of furniture on the other side. Just, that's a real basic way of thinking about it, just to try to play with different elements, and especially with asymmetrical balance, because we're working with different elements. We're not just working with the same elements everywhere. We're working with different types of elements and different colors and sizes and scale. And it's really this dance between, all these different elements and the relationships that they have with the entire room to create a balanced look. And then most of the time, we are probably using asymmetrical balance and symmetrical balance together in a room. And we may start out with something that has symmetrical balance happening with it. So maybe we have a bed that's kind of centered on a certain area of the wall, and we have bedside tables on either side and lamps on either side. And that could be, a symmetrical look. But the rest of the room and all the other elements in the room and the room itself needs to be, brought together to create a balanced look. And that's where we come in with asymmetrical balance and playing with all the design elements to create an overall look and feel that's balanced. And then maybe even a dining room where, lots of times we'll have the dining room table centered underneath a pendant light or chandelier, and the chairs are all centered around the table. And if we drew, an imaginary line down the center of that table, that's symmetrical balance because on either side, it's almost like a mirror image. But then everything else in that area or in that room needs to be part of that dining area experience and needs to be balanced, working with color, working with size and scale, textures and finishes to create an overall balance to the room. And that's asymmetrical balance, working with all of these different elements to create a balanced room. And then even in a living room, we can think of, symmetry, symmetrical balance happening maybe with a sofa that's centered on a wall. But then the rest of the room, we have different elements going on in the room. Maybe there's a fireplace or a TV or chairs, whatever else is going on in that space, plus the space itself, bringing that all together so that the entire thing feels balanced. And that's asymmetrical balance, really working with a variety of different elements to create a cohesive look. So how can we kind of notice balance in a room, either in our place or when we're out and about? Well, just take a moment and stand and sit in a room in different areas of the room and just take notice of what type of balance you can see happening in that room. And maybe it's, both. And is there some symmetry going on with certain elements in the room? But then is there an overall asymmetrical balance? And how is all of that working? Does it feel pretty balanced to you when you walk in the room and you're in different areas of the room? And if not, why do you think it's not feeling very balanced or, maybe not working very well that way? And what are some things maybe that could be changed to make it look and feel better? Let me know in the comments what you find out. And then I'd also love to know, what you consider when you want to create a balanced room. What do you think about when you are arranging things in a room to make sure it looks and feels balanced? I'd love to find out more about how you do that. And I want to thank you again for watching, and I hope you're doing well, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.